whatever improvements happen, there will be two jobs in IT field which would stay, however much AI comes.
Now let's move to your experience at Arcesium.
14th is a gym, 2 table tennis courts and a carrom board, and cafeteria, and a cricket cutoff. I was going wild when I saw the cricket cutoff. The office had a cricket cutoff. And my team personally, we used to play every Wednesday 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. cricket. 4 to 6 hours every day of DSA and OSC and other topics simultaneously. Not included in that 4 to 6 hours.
But फिर पूरा दिन तो पैक रहता रहेगा. 4 to 6 hours used to study. You also used to go to college. You also were part of these clubs.
Right now it's just a chill phase, trekking, working out, cycling.
जी but ऐसी drive होती है तब we stay motivated to work hard and ऐसे results मिलते हैं.
It was also worth it, man.
Hello everyone and welcome Pratyay to the podcast Beyond the Norm. Pratyay is a COEP grad and is currently in his final year of graduation and is pursuing computer science. He has cracked a 40 LPA job offer. And first of all, congrats Pratyay for landing such an amazing job. And in today's podcast, we'll be discussing what is the roadmap to land jobs like these, what all resources should one utilize to prepare for his job interviews, and how did Pratyay himself prepare for his job interviews, his determination, how many hours did he dedicate, and we'll talk all about his hard work and what all did he do. So let's begin. First of all, Pratyay, give a brief introduction about yourself. Ki you are a DSY, right?
Yeah.
Direct second year student. So first of all, why did you think that instead of doing 11th and 12th and then doing graduation, why did you go for diploma and then?
Okay, cool. Yes, that's a good point to begin with. So firstly, I did not take that decision. It was my mom who took the decision for me. So she had done her diploma during her time and then she had graduated. So that's why she said instead of going in the rat race and JEE, which is a lot tougher as compared to getting into diploma and then colleges for graduation. So she insisted that I should do diploma and I did not know any better then. So I opted for the diploma there. And I'm glad I took that decision because during the time I would have been in 11th, 12th, I was not that serious about studying. And COVID also hit then.
Right.
So things turned out pretty well and the decision of choosing diploma ended up being a good decision thanks to all the circumstances.
Okay. And so when did you start a preparation? कि diploma से शुरू कर दिया था या college आने के बाद you thought कि नहीं अभी अच्छे से you should start preparing for interviews or jobs?
To be honest, I started with a little bit of DSA from when I was in the second year of diploma. Like me and a friend of mine at diploma used to do the printing patterns together. Like during COVID, we used to play a lot of games, and between that, we used to like just print the star patterns and all. That's how he got me into DSA, and then he introduced me to what Striver is, so I take you forward.
Right.
But I started doing DSA seriously in like my second year of diploma. The second year of engineering.
Okay.
More like in the 4th semester itself.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a 2-month break or a 1-month break between third year and second year. After the entrance of second year, 4th semester. During that, I went all out in DSA. Okay. Before that, it was only bit by bit, like 1 or 2 problems daily, not a lot. But during the 1-month gap, I did like 4 to 6 hours every day of DSA and OSC and other topics simultaneously, not included in that 4 to 6 hours.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now we'll talk of the roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, what roadmap did you follow and what roadmap should others follow? Basically, the students who are currently in the first year or doing diploma in computer science. So basically, students are very clueless in the first year कि अब क्या करना चाहिए. पहले तो first question which I had in my mind when I was in first year was कि पढ़ाई पे ज़्यादा ध्यान दूँ या क्लब्स पे ज़्यादा ध्यान दूँ, एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स, को करिकुलर्स, पढ़ाई कितनी करनी चाहिए, जॉब के लिए पढ़ाई कब शुरू करनी चाहिए. Of course, it is better कि start early करें, but लोगों को होता है कि 4th year में है, 4 साल क्या ही करना है. So first of all, कब करना चाहिए शुरू, कैसे शुरू करना चाहिए. Here we are only talking about IT jobs, cracking IT jobs. So उसके लिए क्या क्या पढ़ना चाहिए, like DSA, CA, CNOS, web development, whatever. तुमने कैसे किया and the resources that you used.
Okay, cool. Let's start with clubs पहले तो मतलब I have talked to about 10-20 people from the industry, different companies about this, and I came at a one single conclusion कि clubs do not matter as much as we emphasize in our colleges. Like I have personally sold this to a lot of my juniors to join the club just because it's a technical club and it will help you get a resume, get a interview and get into a company.
Right.
But the truth is you will get to meet people and you'll get to learn from them since it's a technical club. But the company people do not really care that you designed a poster for a technical club or anything.
Right.
It's just that you get to experience thing and it's totally on you what you learn at the club and take away from it. Just mentioning that you are a member or a head at some club won't help you as much as you think.
Correct.
That's one. And for the roadmap, I'll say the first question that comes to most of the people's mind these days is AI kare ya na kare. Like everyone out there is going wild behind AI.
Right.
We recently it happened between ChatGPT and DeepSeek, and now Gemini 2.0 is also coming. So everyone is thinking, should we do AI? Would AI take jobs and all? But the problem with this is nowadays it has become a question of do I do AI or not? People have forgotten that there are other domains as well.
Right.
Like there's a domain like cybersecurity, which is less prevalent in India. But outside of India and even in India, there are specific jobs for cybersecurity role which pay a lot.
In fact, I think the cybersecurity jobs are going to take a rise क्योंकि
Yes.
AI के कारण there will be more of cyber threats and जिसके कारण we'll need some professionals handling this matter. Yeah.
Exactly. Like one of the faculty I had at my diploma college had told me this that whatever improvements happen, there will be two jobs in IT field which would stay. However much AI comes, that would be database people and security people, because those two jobs are the fundamentals. Without that, computer science just cannot persist today. We have that much data, and data needs maintenance and security.
Right.
So those two jobs. So rather than restricting yourself to AI, I'll say if anyone wants to pursue AI field and they are genuinely interested, then the AI is the right thing for them. But if someone is like me, like for me AI doesn't work. I'm not really an AI person. I respect people who get into AI, but not my piece of cake. So if you don't feel that AI is very interesting or you are genuinely interested in it, I would say it's not necessary to pursue AI today.
Right.
So there are other roadmaps as well. As a first year student, you should spend your time exploring, because unless you explore what is out there, there are a lot of domains. There is database, there is backend, front end, there is full stack role these days, there is AI, then there are different languages. You have to keep on trying everything for a couple days, for a couple months. You have time since you're in the first year.
Right.
And once you find something like, yeah, this is hell yeah, interesting, then I would recommend you stick to that and then go deeper.
Okay.
So figure out something and keep on trying different technologies till you get to that one technology which feels like home.
Right.
And for DSA, you should start with basic problem solving. There's no need for CP, I think. I have seen a lot of people say that they are doing competitive programming and all, but a lot of them don't know what CP is.
Right.
CP is a sport like Olympics. A lot of people are just opening lead code and doing DSA and calling it
That's
CP.
not CP.
That is not CP at all. CP is like Olympics but for coding.
Right.
There are like international level competitions and you do not need to be a part of that. It is completely unnecessary to know DSA to the level of CP. Doing CP as a hobby is fun.
Right.
As a career, if you are going to just do problem solving, good. But mostly won't be requiring that much, data structures and algorithms daily.
Right.
Even at my company, I had asked my manager and my senior engineers that do you use the programming problem solving skills you learned while doing lead coding job in your actual day-to-day life? And they told me that across the entire company there are like 1 or 2 instances where even graph was used.
Right.
They don't even use any like multi-set graph and all the complex data structures.
What I've heard about is this. This is कि पहले DSA was a primary focus for interviews and for jobs क्योंकि तब ऐसा समय था कि memory was a crucial factor.
True.
उसके लिए डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स यूज करके अच्छे से सब डेटा को एक डिफाइंड मेमोरी में, लिमिटेड मेमोरी में स्टोर करना वाज अ बिग इशू व्हिच नीडेड टू बी सॉल्व्ड, एंड इसलिए डीएसए वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बैक देन. बट अभी ऑल दोस प्रॉब्लम्स हैव बीन सॉल्व्ड एंड वी आर मूविंग अहेड. बट आई थिंक इंटरव्यूज पे वही उधर ही हम अटके हैं कि डीएसए बट आगे उसकी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ रही.
Very true, very true. मतलब today we are at a point where the candidates would know DSA but would have no projects at all.
Right.
A lot of people I have seen get into big companies, even the fan companies. I won't name exactly the companies, but I have friends who are into those companies, and some of them sadly don't have a single project. They have cloned directly from GitHub and they got into the man level companies. So it's a big eye opener, because when you go there and when you see people at Scrum saying ki they learned today how to make a React component, and companies are paying them in lakhs. So that's where the emphasis comes ki you should know development. It would be a very massive edge you would have.
Right.
Because people today do not know development.
Right.
So I think people should focus on both development as well as start with a little bit of DSA.
So two questions here. First of all, ki you said ki explore various tech stacks and then find which one feels like home.
Yes.
So first of all, what was that tech stack for you which you felt कि हाँ भाई ये करना है मुझे इसमें मजा आ रहा है?
Okay, cool. So initially I started just with C++. I learned C from a book, so it took like 6 to 7 months. After that I went to C++, Java. I loved C++ because it's very verbose and I like the amount of control it gives me over pointers and everything. Like if I mess up something, I'm responsible.
Right.
After C++, I went to Vue.js, Vue.js, and then React.js, then Node.js. So after that, I went to Dart and Flutter.
Okay.
After going to Android, I had thought ki I love Android. It's just fun because anyone builds websites, but developing an Android application is rare, is what I thought.
Right.
But after exploring all of that, I came to a realization that I almost liked everything except developing front end. So I was liking the part where I was writing the logic and where I was dealing with the edge cases where the application might break.
Right. Front end में वो it's a lot of monotonous work कि
Yes.
वही layout है वही same सब.
I mean that depends. I have a senior engineer at my company whom I respect a lot. Like I would same for him. He's that good at front end. So what happened is he was just debugging a co-intern of mine's project and he started writing front end code. No Google, no ChatGPT, nothing. He just started typing and he solved the front end issue. And it was not like a easy center diff problem. It was tough. So that's when I realized that even front end can be cool. It's just that we normal people don't know front end. We think front end is just form bana diya and ho gaya. But it's much more than that. But it does not appeal to me as much as it appeals to him. It's very cool to watch. But I realized that I like solving problems and I like thinking of edge cases. So rather than sticking to a tech stack, I could solve problems in almost any language. My preference would be backend, and that's how I discovered that I had like a, what do you say? I had a preference to backend.
Okay.
Yes, that's how I came to that.
And the second question that you talked about people doing CP for fun and doing DSA problems on lead code is not CP. So did you do competitive programming yourself?
No, I didn't. I had a thought of doing that. I had started, but I gave up because it takes a lot of dedication to do competitive programming. And I don't think it's personally worth it for me. I prefer doing system design. I'm currently reading about system design. So it's much more fun for me to read about how large scale systems like Amazon, Flipkart work on day-to-day life. I mean, it's very interesting to realize how a single code that someone wrote is serving about 1 billion users every day. For example, Instagram. It's very fascinating. So there's a lot of option in what you can read. For me, solving CP would be tough because it would take years and years to develop my skills enough to say that I know CP. I can't just be like, yeah, I picked a solution from lead code ka discussion, spatial, and now I'm doing CP.
Right.
It's just sad that people do that. I know a lot of people who just copy paste and now are at ranks of knights and all. But in the long term, that won't help. When you say that you do CP in a DSA in an interview, they will expect you to know things.
Right.
Because they do not know what the current generation is doing. My manager did not know who Striver was or who Take You Forward is. So when you say you do CP, they associate directly with ICPC. So be prepared that you will be asked questions of that level.
Who Striver is?
Okay.
I also don't know what
Striver is, he's a Google engineer right now and he was from a Tier 3 college. He started teaching DSA and he introduced the platform of SD sheets. So SD sheets are basically, you can say, a sheet containing all the problems you should go through in order for interview preparation. So he has a YouTube channel named Take You Forward and same goes for the website. And there's this SD sheet which I followed which has like around 191 problems. of different topics like linked list, queue stacks, everything. You solve that, you will be ready for interviews, at least DSA round. So that's the guy, and a lot of people know the name. Means if you ask in CS, it would be like Striver or Love Bubble. It's like what do you say? Pandas and Kauravas of today. It's like that. So that's that. Did you get the answer to the question you asked?
Yeah. And okay, so first I think first year me you should try different tech stacks, but also you should do a bit of a DSA just to build the logic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, no one is asking you to do graph questions and complex questions in the first year. Just get started with logic building, like how would you distribute chocolates among children? Easier questions.
Right. So DSA and exploring different tech stacks, and you said that you like backend the most.
Yes.
So what resources did you use to learn about backend or web development in general?
Majorly, right now I prefer documentation and books, and I started with books, but in between I had switched to YouTube videos.
Okay.
I generally tell people that you do not have to buy any courses. I mean, there are ways to get everything for free. I am a big advocate of that. So, the reason I recommend documentation is when you start working in a company, then you will face problems which you don't face today. Assignments, we generally use ChatGPT or YouTube for assignments. Those are like 100 lines of codes, and they are very easy to solve as well because our past 10 batches have solved the same assignment.
Right.
So there is a lot of content on Google and YouTube for that. But when you get into a company, you face problems which have not been solved yet, at least by so many people. So most likely you will end up reading blogs from some random guy who wrote it 3 years ago, which is now deprecated or which is now a very past version. So you would have to relate that version with current version syntax, and it's very hard to find YouTube videos regarding that. So if you know how to read documentations, it would help you a lot in the longer run.
Okay.
You won't be reading documentation right now in college level, but it's better to start reading now so that you get accustomed to finding your answers in the documentation, as it will save you a lot of time later on.
Right, because once you get in the job, ऐसे नहीं कोई बैठ के तुमको सिखाने वाला. You have to read documentation of the new tech stacks that are coming every day.
True.
So yeah.
Yes.
And I also remember you mentioning that you studied C++ or C, I think, from a textbook.
Yeah.
So why did you choose studying from a textbook? Because that's like intimidating कि इतना बड़ा book पढ़ना है.
True. Yes. I mean that was in early 2021. The first wave of COVID when it was hit. So at that time, Geo was also barely launched. So I didn't have much access to the internet, and since the internet was new, then there were not as much resources as there are right now. If you see, a lot of coding content that is on YouTube is by Indian people, and it came in the previous 3-4 years. So at that time there was only Code with Hari, who was very famous for C and C++, but his videos were like 5-6 minutes long. And you do not get as much from that. And I had just read the book Deep Work at that time, and it said that you had to stick for a session for like 2-3 hours in a row, and you cannot do that with phones. I simply consider that, because if I have my phone in hand, I'll go do something which is easier for me, which is more comfortable. So that's why I started reading that book, and it got interesting. Like, I love the fact about books that randomly it would throw a gotcha or a point at you, and you'll be like, oh, that's why this is the reason they named it like that. So there are so many points like that in the book, which got me hooked to the book, and it took a lot of time to read the book. And the reason it took me 6 to 7 months was I solved every single exercise that was in the book. Like, I did that very religiously, and it still helps me to this day that I solved that one questions.
But all of this might require a lot of patience, right?
Yes.
And of course, this is not for the students who have started preparing for the interviews in the 3rd or 4th year, because this will take time.
True.
And if you are learning coding just out of interest and curiosity and not for jobs, like from your first year, I think then only you must read books.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, now if I'm in my first year or second year of diploma when I started, I would not go again through that 6 months. Even though it was a very good experience, and even though it still helps me, the problem with that is I now know that I have limited time. So I would say, rather than doing the whole 6 months thing, I would only take the challenges which seem worthy for me.
Right.
Like even today also, if I see a problem solving or lead code or system design question, I first ask myself, "Ki, do you think this would be challenging? Do you think I'll be stuck somewhere? If no, I skip the challenge or the question because it doesn't make sense to waste time on that.
Right.
So be honest to yourself. If you think this is gonna be hard, accept it and sit and solve it. But if you think this is very easy, we do this a lot. Ki, there are easy level coding questions which we can solve in like 5-10 minutes and we know the answers to. We just want to code it out because it feels very satisfying. It is a huge waste of time, to be honest. I have been stuck there. We all have been there.
अच्छा लगता है कि आज 10 प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किए बट वो इजी लेवल के हैं ऑलरेडी आते हैं.
A lot of them were like कि something similar we solved before. Just take the variable आगे पीछे.
Right.
So you should not waste your time doing that. It's clearly a waste of time.
And मतलब अभी अगर आ रहा है वो easy है and if you are able to solve that now, interview में भी you will be able to solve it. So
exactly.
वो अभी practice करके you are just wasting your time and you're not growing your skills.
True. Yes.
Right. So DSA के लिए lead code और HackerRank.
Yes.
Okay. And why HackerRank?
Because HackerRank is a very good platform to begin with. You can't just start with lead code and expect कि आएगा. Lead code पे they give option for randomized problems, but वो problems की difficulty vary a lot.
Okay.
They have 3 levels: easy, medium, hard. But even some medium questions are hard, some hard questions are very easy. So it's confusing for the people who are just starting, and it might cause them to lose their morale.
Okay.
It has happened even with me that I solved the hard question and medium nahi chhut raha. So it feels very irritating. But HackerRank has a very nice roadmap of problem solving questions. There's a dedicated track to problem solving which takes you through if-else loops and to harder problems. It builds your thinking in a way.
Right.
So I recommend people to start with HackerRank, then move to lead code. Yes.
And lead code में what level of questions do they need to solve? Like medium तक ठीक है या?
Mostly medium तक. If you are opting for companies like Arcesium, Disha या high paying companies, so some hard questions, जैसे graph के questions generally come under hard questions. Okay. Even the questions which are very easy, if you know graph concepts, they still come in hard questions.
Correct.
तो ऐसे वाले hard questions. You don't have to go all the way out, take the mathematical questions and all. No one asks that. Just graph and dynamic programming के hard questions. Right. बाकी इसके mostly medium questions and binary search के hard questions. These are what they ask. बाकी they don't. Even though these are called hard questions, वो easy है. You just have to understand the concept.
Right. And can you name the books that you referred for learning DSA, C++, C?
Yes. For C, it was ANSI C by E. Balaguruswamy. Okay. उसके बाद for DSA, I should recommend Introduction to Algorithms. I don't remember the author, but it is a very good book, but it is a complex book. I'm still reading that, even I'm in final year right now, because there is just so much to understand there. And for interviews specifically, I'll recommend Cracking the Coding Interview. It's a green colored book, a very good book. I prepared my introduction and the way I would approach any problem solving question. So there's a 8-step tutorial in the book on how to approach a problem. Once the interviewer gives you the question, how to approach it so that you get the most of the question. So that was pretty cool. I would really recommend everyone to try that.
Okay. And with what language did you start? C, C++, Java, Python?
C.
C.
Yes.
And the reason?
There's no particular reason. It was a coursework pehle to, and generally people start with Python these days, but I don't recommend Python because it's very easy and C and Java will be very hard for you. If you can start directly with Python, first thing you would ask yourself is why are we writing all the classes and int main वगैरह?
Correct.
Because Python में you can have a 1-line code and it's your program.
Absolutely.
So I started with C because it was in our coursework. And another reason is it builds your fundamentals very well. That's what my faculty then had told me. Okay. When you start with C, you would know how programs actually work. If I was born like 20 years ago, I would have probably started with assembly. Right. So at that time, C was very well known for starting.
But I also believe that C++, Java, C language like these build a crux basic logic develop kar dete, and then you can build upon it and then you can move to other languages like Python.
True.
To make your work easy.
Once you know object-oriented languages like C++ and Java, you can move to any framework in like 15-20 days.
Right.
That helps a lot.
Now we have talked about how did you prepare for your placement. So basically you started learning coding from your second year itself.
Yes.
You practice DSA, web development, the resources. You also have mentioned that. Now let's move to your experience at Arcesium. Basically, you had done 2 months internship at Arcesium after your third year. So how was the experience overall?
Yeah, the experience was surreal. Matlab, it was astronomical. I will lack words, I will lack adjectives if I have to put it in words. The people were there so amazing and so intelligent. They were really helpful. And I also always brag about the food. The food there was so good. You should come to the office just to try the food. Like every day there was something special. And other than that, the project.
Free was the food?
Ha, completely free. And there were fruits and all. We can make a complete podcast just on food. It was that good. Other than that, the work which I got was very good as well. I don't know how much I can disclose. I'll just go over the high level. I had to develop or make work on a system which would send emails to client and team, and I had to add features to that. And the tough part for that was it was in Python, and I had no idea about Python. I was a Python hater before my internship, so I was like, company में Java और Kotlin है कर लेंगे. It's good, it's fun. Java Kotlin लिखना भी ज़्यादा पड़ता है. I like that kind of verbosity. But वहाँ जाके they told me you have to work on Python. I was like, okay, challenge accepted. अब नहीं तो नहीं बोल सकता. So I started reading about Python from Python docs and all. फिर as I continued programming, developing, I got to know more and more about Python, and I was like, damn, it's kind of cool. I've been hating Python for no reason. So then eventually that was my first project, the mailing system. Second was we worked on a UI. I developed the backend part of it, APIs. So it was a landing page where you will get summary of all the stocks and portfolio of client, but it would be controlled from the database or from the backend. So you make a change in the database and the whole UI changes. So what you do there is you have a JSON schema, and that schema tells the front page what all components you want to load. And I wrote the API and all the backend for it. So it was pretty cool for me that instead of having to go through the entire release cycle, you just release one Firefly schema. It is a document which runs the database queries at the server. So you just send one Firefly schema on the commit to GitLab, and it automatically updates the UI. Like no restarting the server and nothing. You just reload the page and boom, it's there. So that was a very good thing. And the people there were so much helpful. I was not into system design then because I didn't know where to start. I asked my manager at the company, like, where should I start system design? I had heard that he knows system design very well. So he gave me a complete track of what to refer, where to start. So people are very helpful even if you are there to ask personal doubts. I still ask the people at my company about diet and what to do at gym, where to start with MMA and all. So the people there were very helpful and very amazing.
And पहले तो RCSM क्या करती है?
So I don't know how much you are into fintech. I was very new, so I had no idea about this. So there are three offices: front office, middle office, and back office in fintech institutions. Arcesium is a middle office. This is what I learned in 2 months. So they take data from clients, process it, and give it back to clients. During this, there are a lot of intricacies and stuff they do, which I don't know much. I worked in the compliance team. So what we do is we deal with other companies, people, and make sure they don't do fraud. Just insider trading हो गया for crypto या फिर for stocks. We make sure that other companies' employees don't do this type of fraud. So that was the compliance team.
And now talking about the work culture at RCSM, basically कि काम वगैरह ठीक है, पर उसके अलावा how were your colleagues and बाकी did you have any sports there? Usually होते हैं बड़ी कंपनीज में, pool होता है.
Okay, I'm gonna flex so hard. So first day at my office, 3 floors, ठीक है, 12th, 13th, 14th. 12th floor is all the finance people, 13th is mostly all the tech people, 14th is a gym, 2 table tennis courts and a carrom board, and cafeteria, और एक cricket का turf. I was going wild when I saw the cricket का turf. The office had a cricket का turf. And my team personally, we used to play every Wednesday 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. cricket. So it was such an amazing experience. All the senior level engineers and managers versus all junior engineers and interns. ऐसे matches होते थे, 3 matches of 6 hours. And other than that, we had a PS4 in our office. So after our presentations and all were done, we used to spend so much time there. And we also discovered that there were Fanta Coke machines, dispensers directly.
Okay.
Like no limit, take the cup there and just पियो जितना भी
Free of cost.
Free of cost completely.
सही है.
That was there. Foosball था, of course, and snooker. Snooker और एक कौन सा एक बॉल रहता है, वो दोनों टेबल्स थे.
अरे.
So a lot of fun.
पूरा गेमिंग आर्केड था बेसिकली उधर.
Yes.
सही है.
And even a massage chair. मतलब gym had a massage chair. I have slept on the massage chair. So it was a great experience. मतलब anytime someone asks me how was your experience at Arcesium, a smile comes to me. It was such amazing experience.
So I think this should be the motivation for the students to work hard, study hard, and then get into such big companies. क्योंकि उधर काम अच्छा होता है, but salary भी अच्छी होती है और
लोग भी अच्छे हैं, amenities अच्छे हैं.
Amenities अच्छी होती है. Basically recreational activities की कमी नहीं होती है. क्रिकेट टर्फ ऑफिस में भाई.
Exactly. I mean there was also one event we missed क्योंकि they have ऐसे 4 clans. There's Phoenix and ऐसे और 3 हैं. Thunderbird, Phoenix ऐसे 4. And they have throughout the year a complete set of sports events, football, cricket and all. They book turfs वगैरह for this. And then out of the 4 clans, one clan wins a trophy and all. पूरा anniversary party में celebration होता है. It's like 4 जैसे स्कूल में houses होते थे वैसा but on company level. So it is very much fun.
Yes. So now here we are seeing all the fun part कि कैसे क्या मजा किया. But to reach here, of course you studied a lot. But फिर how many hours did you dedicate every day?
Initially, I used to do like 6 to 8 hours because I used to join online servers on Discord, online calls of study together streams. When it was the COVID era, of course. So I had in diploma you have to learn a lot. You have to memorize a lot of stuff क्योंकि mostly theory paper रहता है. In our college, gladly ऐसा नहीं है. बाकी engineering college still do have that. So in order to learn and memorize all that, I had to study and give a lot of time. क्योंकि at that time one of my faculty had the goal कि उनका कोई student seat पे जाए. And luckily I was the first one तो. तो at that time what happened was कि I found friends वगैरह online COVID के वक्त and we used to study online. बस कैमरा ऑन किया, म्यूट है and सब पढ़ रहे हैं. So it used to go 6 to 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours a day. Because I had JEE and NEET people sitting with me, so I had the motivation. Right. Someday this is all gonna sum up together. If they are studying and I'm not, I'm gonna be left behind. Right. So that's when I studied a lot. In my second year, when I was very new here, I used to study like 4 to 6 hours a day, other than college time.
Okay.
I used to wake up at 5 then. My sleep cycle was not good. Like 10:30, 11 to 5 सोता था. It might be good for people, but I need 7.5 hours of sleep.
Right, 6 hours थोड़ा कम है daily basis पे.
Exactly. So second year maybe I did a lot and I got a decent CGPA. And third year के starting में I got my internship. And उसके बाद जो मैं रोज सोया हूँ. Like trust me, in my 5th, 6th semester, I studied a bit less as compared to 3rd, 4th. Still used to do 2 to 3 hours a day, but still it's less compared to my 3rd and 4th semester. Okay. Jab it averaged to 4 to 6 hours a day.
And so with all of this, were you part of any clubs, and how do these clubs and co-curricular activities help you, or if they even help you to a significant extent or not?
Okay. So about clubs, I started with COFSUG. Even before I got into CAP, when I had just got my diploma percentages, I had searched and I was into open source then. Because I had just started using Ubuntu before I joined the college. So now I found that COEP has this club called COEP's Free Software User Group, which I had no idea about. I joined उनके Google groups, which was inactive since 2015 something. Okay. And COEP की site पे क्योंकि old information थी, somehow I got that. And after joining, I asked around and I got to know about the club. Inductions हो गए थे पहले.
COFSUG का full form क्या बोला?
COEP's Free Software Users Group.
Okay. So
जब आया मैं तब तक the inductions were already over. So I requested the seniors and बहुत लोगों से बात की and then they did a second round of inductions. Okay. Which I'm so glad it happened. उसके बाद I also targeted PSF में events. Events and networking.
PSF Pune Startup Fest.
हाँ Pune Startup Fest exactly. Events and networking. And तब के हमारे heads and all were very amazing. I even got in. मेरा interview was like 6-7 लोग क्योंकि मैं लेट गया था. COFSUG event करके गया था. So 6-7 लोग जितने पैनल के थे सब आ गए थे. But it was a fun experience. So I got into that, but sadly बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम देना पड़ रहा था. मतलब I have a lot of respect for TSF people क्योंकि they dedicate so much time to that event to make it successful. And I was not able to do that क्योंकि मुझे CGPA was मेरी पहली priority. I was like CGPA and companies matter more अभी के लिए at this point in my life. So I had to drop out of PSF, but I stayed loyal with COFSAL क्योंकि it took less effort to be there in COFSAL. Okay. Even though events वगैरह करने में it took efforts क्योंकि I took 3 or 4 sessions. But just to stay a member, it was easier in COFSAL.
But how was the work what was the work you did at COFSAL? Was it technical or was it arranging some events, managing events?
I did both. I got experience in both. So firstly, in my second year here, in COFSAL I majorly took events. I spoke in events on the topics I knew and all. But in the third year when I was the overall coordinator, I went from member to OC. So it was fun. So when I got to OC position, I shifted more to managing events and arranging events. And I got a very good chance to improve my communication skills there and how I dealt with people. We got to arrange a KDE conference last year in our college itself.
What is a KDE conference?
So KDE is basically an open source foundation which makes a lot of softwares, including the desktop environment you see and a lot more. So basically we got them to our college and it happens once a year and it is a national level conference. So that happened at our college last year. So in that I got to meet a lot of people and a lot of extremely hardworking genius people. One of them is working at Mercedes-Benz, one of them is at OpenSUSE and they became quite good friends of mine. We communicated, we contacted a lot. I even met one of them at India Force Bangalore recently. And so through them I got chances for interviewing at Mercedes-Benz recently. Okay. Yeah. So it's like I got to know how to deal with people, I got to build networks and build my communication skills and develop a network which would land me a job offer at companies like Mercedes-Benz. Correct. So I think that is one big takeaway I'll take from the college clubs, you can say. That if you work hard enough in a college club, you can build a network and that will benefit you. Right. But in company interviews, it won't. That's what I meant with that point.
And how did COFSAL help you with your technical skills?
Okay, so for taking the events which I took, for taking the sessions, I had to research deep enough because when you are talking about any topic, you have to be prepared that some random guy would ask you a very specific niche questions. So for that, I had to go deep down enough, and you don't get YouTube videos on that. You have to read about that stuff. Right. So that's how COFSAL helped me through sessions.
So basically, the COFSAL sessions help you build networks, help you improve your communication skills, as well as help you research about technical topics, which help you gain more knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Great. And so, but फिर पूरा दिन तो पैक रहता रहेगा. 4 to 6 I used to study. You also used to go to college. You also were part of these clubs.
Yes. Well, initially in this, I am quite guilty of this. That in second year I did not do gym or workout. I used to skip this so much. The thing is कि I was kind of addicted to all that was happening. मतलब I had this amazing drive then. If I पढ़ना है because I have to achieve something. अब इतना है, there's no point stopping after just coming to COEP. I don't like the feeling कि people know me because I'm a COEP student. I have this is a very egoistic answer, so sorry. But I want COEP to be known क्योंकि मैं यहाँ पे था. I don't want COEP to be part of this कि ये लड़का COEP में है. That's so good. So I want my mom and dad to say कि माझा मुलगा जो है तो COEP होता है आणि COEP कसं felicitation and all होता है तिकडे चाललाय and all someday in the future. So it's that.
नहीं but ऐसी drive होती है तब we stay motivated to work hard and ऐसे results मिलते हैं.
It was also worth it man. मतलब तब का dedication it feels. अभी I don't work उतना क्योंकि अभी I know 4-5 महीने में I have to go to job and then start again with YouTube and all. तो तब I'll again start. So right now it's just a chill phase, trekking, working out, cycling.
So अभी सब set है तो.
Yes, exactly.
मस्त चल रहा है.
अभी I want a break 4 महीने का.
सही है सही.
Yes.
So basically to reach at the stage where Pratyay is बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता है. He used to study 4 to 6 hours every day apart from his college. He was also a part of clubs where he used to dedicate I think 1-2 घंटे रोज के तो उधर भी जाते रहते हैं. More than that during events.
Yes.
So there is no substitute to hard work.
True. Yes, agreed.
Yes. But एक बार कुछ achieve हो जाता है then you can enjoy.
हाँ मतलब it's okay to give
For-
yourself a
yeah,
break
right.
after you have worked hard enough. Burnout नहीं होने देना.
Of course, break
Yes.
is needed. So yeah, any last words before we wrap up this podcast?
I'll say कि don't do anything which would make you feel regret and do everything which might like if you feel inside कि ये कर लेना चाहिए था तो करो. Don't think what others will think about you वगैरह. It's okay if you say no to invitations and focus on yourself. It's completely fine if you do that.